Hello everyone, my name is John Sierra and I am a Tolkien scholar, and we're going to do a little bit of gaming today. We're going to be playing The Hobbit, which is a game that came out for, the version I'm playing is for the GameCube, and it also came out, I believe, for PlayStation 2. And I played this game a while back on Twitch just to play it, and I wasn't doing like a scholarly sort of like let's analyze it playthrough. I was just having fun and playing the game for honestly the first time. And this is very much not based on the films. Obviously, this came out way before the Hobbit films. This is based on the book, and the same developer also made the Fellowship of the Ring, which I've never played either. But it's a pretty fun game, and it's actually pretty close to the book. So let's actually get into it. Let's play this game. Now, I think I have a couple of saves here. So you can see Sierra Entertainment presents The Hobbit, the prelude to The Lord of the Rings. Like I said, they had the rights not to any Peter Jackson films, but specifically to the books. So it's a lot closer. And this is a much better game than what we had seen with The Lord of the Rings on Super NES that I'd played through previously. I think I have a pause button somewhere around here that I could use to stop it. There we go. Okay, at any point to speak about things.
There lived a hobbit.
Okay, so starting right there, we're off to a great start. Like, that is actually the first line of The Hobbit. I'm going to grab the book here. This is my copy of The Hobbit, and just going to Chapter 1, An Unexpected Story. In a hole in the ground there lived a hobbit. Now this does skip ahead because you could see it talks about Bilbo right away, but in the book it describes the hole in more detail. Not a nasty, dirty, wet hole filled with the ends of worms and an oozy smell, nor yet a dry, bare, sandy hole with nothing in it to sit down on or to eat. It was a hobbit hole, and that means comfort. And it goes on to describe the door and the rooms and the tunnels and everything. And then, before it even mentions Bilbo, like it says at the bottom here, the hobbit was a very well-to-do hobbit, and his name, we have to go over here, was Baggins. And it doesn't even mention his first name yet. So, as you can see, this is truncated a bit, but they are starting with a very, direct text from the book.
Bilbo Baggins was a
He's relaxing outside.
He lived a comfortable life and never had any adventures.
Was he really that respected? See, that's an interesting thing, because this is based solely on The Hobbit. So anything from Unfinished Tales is obviously not in here. But let me look at this and see. I don't think he ever said that Bilbo was respected. It says here that he's very well to do, and that the Bagginses have lived in the neighborhood of the hill for time out of mind. Bag End was actually built by Bilbo's father. His mother financed it, but we have to assume that they lived around that area before that. And people considered them very respectable. Now, notice that it doesn't say Bilbo, them, the Baggins family, considered very respectable, not only because most of them were rich, but also because they never had any adventures or did anything unexpected. And it goes on to say this is the story of how a Baggins had an adventure. So with him saying that Bilbo's family was respected, the Bagginses in general, and that they never had adventures or did anything unexpected, and then here's Bilbo having an adventure and doing things that are unexpected, you could believe just from the text of The Hobbit that Bilbo was very respected. However, I'm going to grab my copy here of Unfinished Tales, and I'm going to go to the story called The Quest for Erebor. Here it is. And Gandalf has a different view of it here. And of course, the game developers would not have had access to this, or, well, access, yes, but they could not adapt anything from it. Well, this is all about Thorin. I have to get to the part more about Bilbo. And how he originally came looking specifically for Bilbo, why he chose Bilbo, and how we can see that maybe they didn't in the Shire respect him as much as you may think. See, now here's the first part of that, where he says, "So I rode off back to Thorin in haste, to tackle the difficult task of persuading him to put aside his lofty designs and go secretly and take Bilbo with him, without seeing Bilbo first. It was a mistake and nearly proved disastrous, for Bilbo had changed, of course. At least he was getting rather greedy and fat, and his old desires had dwindled down to a sort of private dream." So he knew him since he was a child. If you read a little bit earlier than that, he says, "Somehow I had been attracted by Bilbo long before. As a child and as a young hobbit, he had not quite come of age when I had last seen him. He had stayed in my mind ever since, with his eagerness and his bright eyes and his love of tales and his questions about the wide world outside the Shire. As soon as I entered the Shire, I heard news of him. He was getting talked about, it seems. Both his parents had died early for Shire folk at about 80, and he had never married. He was already growing a bit queer, they said, and went off for days by himself. He could be seen talking to strangers, even dwarves." So you could see that they already thought he was sort of a strange fellow, that he was venturing outside of the Shire. He was talking to people who weren't hobbits. He was even talking to dwarves. And, here's the part specifically that I was looking for, when he talked to Holman the gardener, which I believe would be Sam's grandfather. And he was looking for Bilbo. And it says, "Off again," said one hobbit. It was Holman the gardener, I believe. "Off again. He'll go right off one of these days if he isn't careful." While I asked him where he was going and when he would be back. "And I don't know," he says. And then he looks at me queerly. "It depends if I meet any, Holman," he says. "It's the Elves' New Year tomorrow. A pity, and him so kind a body. You wouldn't find a better from the downs to the river." So Holman clearly respects Bilbo. He, and that family always did. I believe that is Sam's grandfather. There is a note here. Oh, no. Okay, so he's not Sam's grandfather. That's Holman Greenhand, but Sam's father, Hamfast Gamgee, was his apprentice. So in a way, sort of a grandfatherly role there. But that, he respected Bilbo, and of course Hamfast respected Bilbo, and Hamfast's son, Sam, respected Bilbo. And I know I'm getting into a lot, and that's why we're doing a scholarly playthrough here. The whole idea here is that I'm pointing out, though, that even the ones that respect him, they think he's a little off. They think he's a little strange. And there are a lot out there, like, say, the Sackville Bagginses and such, that have outright contempt for Bilbo. But a lot of that information is found in The Lord of the Rings or in Unfinished Tales and such. So, that being said, this is accurate to just The Hobbit, and that's fine. So let's continue on. I'm going to try not to go on too many tangents here, but that's sort of the point of the channel.
So Bilbo was rather surprised when Gandalf the wizard invited him on a great adventure.
Look at how scared he looks.
He politely declined. But not before accidentally inviting Gandalf to tea.
And of course all the dwarves show up.
The next day, Gandalf arrived with 13 hungry dwarves.
So this makes it seem like Gandalf arrives and has all of the dwarves with him, when in fact they arrived one at a time, ones and twos, and they just sort of just came in and made themselves at home and started eating his food, and Bilbo, being a very excellent host, was just like, "Oh sure, come in, whatever," and he's waiting for Gandalf, and more dwarves come until at the end Gandalf arrives with Thorin, and then everybody's there. And if you wonder, well, why did Gandalf do it that way? Why didn't he do it like in the game here? Why didn't he arrive with them all at once? And I think it's because if he had opened the door and saw Gandalf standing there with 13 dwarves, he would have just closed it. He wouldn't have been receptive to it. He wouldn't have gotten to know them. And Gandalf knew this. He used this technique a little bit later in the story when they go to Beorn. He says he didn't want to overwhelm Beorn, so he goes up there with just Bilbo, and then he says to the dwarves, "I want you guys to come two at a time," Bombur being the odd one, and just sort of wait 5 minutes and then arrive in twos, and we'll sort of slowly introduce Beorn to the idea of there being 13 dwarves at his house and sampling his hospitality. And when you read that part, you think back, well, that's what he did to Bilbo.
They ate everything Bilbo had to offer, then sang sad songs and listened to their king, Thorin Oakenshield.
So he sort of rolled his R there on Thorin. He was Thorin. You shouldn't do that in that case, because it's not an elvish name. It's a dwarvish name. Thorin. It should be a little more A little more guttural. Thorin. Not Thorin, as I sometimes hear, definitely not Thorin. If he was an elf, he would be Thorin, but it's Thorin.
Here he is, Bilbo Baggins.
I think, though, when you're reading Tolkien, and he faints, yeah, and you, this is to give you a tutorial, a little dream that he has, so you can sort of get used to the way that the game plays. But yeah, you get used to rolling R's, and for speaking in Elvish, but you don't always have to. You would do it in Elvish or any Elvish-derived dialects, possibly in Adonaic, because I think the men of Numenor were used to doing that. And then you could make an argument that Adonaic leads to Westron, but I think that that was more like akin to Old English, like what they spoke in Rohan, you know.
What's this?
And he had. So this is just this isn't canon, obviously. We're at the Battle of Five Armies. He has Sting. This is just get used to the way that the game is played. So it's, if you've ever played like The Legend of Zelda, it's pretty similar. Yeah. That's sort of your best attack, is to jump when that meter at the bottom fills up slowly, and hitting the goblins actually makes it go up faster. And then you get that slam attack where you can send them flying. Now, I don't have to play carefully here, because you notice I don't have any kind of health bar. Bilbo is dreaming. This is not designed to be a challenge. It's designed to let you get used to the game. Yeah, and you have a duck. Nope. I didn't realize that my, Oh, don't do that. Oh no, now the camera's all... There we go. So, they tell him you're going to have an adventure, and immediately Bilbo dreams of the Battle of Five Armies. So the end of the game actually does look pretty similar to this. It's a lot more difficult, and you do have a health meter, but... I like the way that a lot of the goblins look different from each other. They're pretty diverse. That is accurate to the lore. There's lots of different types of goblins. Of course, goblins and orcs are the same thing. And The Hobbit actually told you that by Elrond translating the name of the sword Orcrist as Goblin Cleaver. Oh, that was... That was one of my allies, my bad. Okay. We will, very carefully only attack the not that it matters, like I said, this is a dream. So you want to use that on the ones with shields, really. I feel like I need to turn vertical sync on at some point. I wonder if I could do that without interrupting this. So I'm getting a little bit of screen tearing. Let me attempt this now. I did just update this whole setup here. Okay, yeah, just turn the vertical sync on. Alright, there we go. That's a lot better. And there is Bolg. Bolg, of course, is the leader of the goblins. He led them to the Battle of Five Armies. We'll talk more about him later.
It was just a dream. Just a dream. But what an adventure.
So this is sort of...
Despite his fear, something awoke.
This is sort of suggesting that Bilbo had a dream, and then that's what got him to go. But really, it was always within him. And Gandalf sort of, as he said in the film version, in the Fellowship of the Ring, I just gave him a little nudge out the door. And that's actually pretty accurate.
Within Bilbo, he wanted to visit distant lands, explore caves, and carry a sword instead of a walking stick.
That's a line from the book.
To his own astonishment, Bilbo agreed to go.
He signs a contract and everything, too. That's what's wild. So we're going to an unexpected party. So we're going to basically do, each chapter is going to be its own video. That first chapter, the Dream World, I'm not counting that because it's so short. So we're going to count an unexpected party as being the very first part of the game of The Hobbit. Takes a little while to load, right? This is what it was like back in the day.
You've slept half the morning, Mr. Baggins. That won't convince Thorin that you're a fierce burglar.
I'll show him if I have to walk to the east of East and fight the wild wereworms in the last desert.
Well, now you'll
Notice
just
that he
have to
says
walk
east
to
of
the
East and
Green
it's
Dragon
capitalized.
Inn. The dwarves are waiting.
But
No time for it. And no
In the
time for
original
that. Just fetch your walking stick.
draft of The Hobbit, he
knows
said
where you'll
China,
end up
believe it
today.
or not. And of course, that's not a thing that it's not a thing in Middle Earth. Although Middle Earth was never mentioned in The Hobbit, neither was the Shire or anything like that. That all came from The Lord of the Rings. So these sort of they're called courage points. They sort of work like experience points. They fill up that meter in the upper left corner. You can see the little red dots. Those are Bilbo's health points. And every time you level up, you get more health points. So there's our first main weapon, which is his walking stick. So we have that. And we can go bother Gandalf. You can see a very accurate depiction of Gandalf. He's got the gray robes, the silver scarf, the blue hat. He's also got a cape, which I don't suppose is all that necessary, but there you
Meet
have
the
it.
dwarves at the Green Dragon Inn. Off you go, Mr. Baggins.
Of course, we could go straight to the Green Dragon, which is in a town called Bywater.
what's this? My pocket has sprouted a hole.
But there's other things
My
to do.
silver pennies must be scattered all over Hobbiton.
So silver pennies is the general currency of Eriador, which is the area of the lost realm of Arnor, where the Shire is and where Breeland is. And we really only hear it mentioned once in the Fellowship of the Ring, actually, when they have to buy a pony in Bree, and they talk about it costing 12 silver pennies. So that's a save point. Okay. So we're going to go around. We're going to gather as many silver pennies as we can get and as many courage points as we get. We're going to talk to some hobbits. There's one right here.
I was thinking about Bulrora Toot. You know all about Bulrora Toot, don't you?
Of course. He's my great.
He was quite an adventurous hobbit.
Just cut him right
In
off.
the Battle of the Greenfields he did. Knocked the Goblin King's head clean off with a wooden club. Sailed through the air and went right down a rabbit hole. Well, that's where we got the game of golf.
So I've heard.
Ah, Bulrora Toot. I wish you young people knew more of your histories.
It's interesting that a Hobbiton man would be speaking so highly of Bulror Took and not be like, oh, wow, he went off, he had adventures, he fought. That's kind of scary in the Third Age. The interesting about the golf connection is that the orc's name that he killed was called Golfinbull. So that's where the game of golf came from. There's some silver pennies. Just gonna make sure we check all these bushes for I might want to invert the vertical part of this. See if I can do that. Yeah, I was thinking the vertical invert. Let's see how that feels. That's a lot better. Okay. So we're going to explore the neighborhood, do some quests and such. Let's talk to her.
Beautiful day.
So this is Gammer.
Good day, Gamma.
I seem to have lost my quilting needle somewhere in town. If you find it, could you please bring it to me?
Certainly, Gamma.
So two things. One, obviously Bilbo did not come out and do all these like side quests. He didn't help Gammer. He didn't look for silver pennies. He didn't do all these things that we're going to do. But that is to create gameplay, and it's perfectly fine. Gammer is actually Sam's grandmother. So, and this is very accurate that Bilbo lives on the hill in the biggest house, and that the next one down in Bagshot Row is the Gamgee's house. This is Gammer Gamgee, Sam's grandmother.
Oh, I'm hungry. It's almost noon and I've only had 2 breakfasts. There's a lovely seed cake cooling in my windowsill. I think I'll head home for a morsel before lunch.
So hobbits actually do eat 6 meals a day. They changed it in the film versions to 7, but it's breakfast, second breakfast, and then luncheon, and afternoon tea, dinner, and supper. Those are the 6 meals. Sometimes you hear about 11sies. It's actually just a rural British slang for a second breakfast, but Peter Jackson thought it would be funny if it was like a third breakfast, if there was 3 breakfasts. So, and he was right, it is very funny. So you can see that meter starting to fill up a bit. So I can just move this out of the way. I forget what that's for. It looks like a butter churn or something, but I don't think we have to do anything with that just yet. Can I get over here? Oh, hold on. Whoa! Okay, no. There's another fellow here I'm going to talk to.
I saw a dwarf wandering around town. Did you see him?
There's a lot of dwarves in
His
town.
beard so long he tucked it into his belt. And he was dressed so outlandishly. He must have gotten lost on his way to Bree.
Yeah. So like I said earlier, the Green Dragon was in a town called Bywater, which is sort of like the next town over from Hobbiton, and Bilbo ran straight there. I could see a green courage point on top of the Smeal's awning, so we'll just hop up there and grab that. And this one too. The different colored ones have different like values, but it doesn't much matter right now. Also, I can climb this rope if I want to. Not much of a reason to, but it's just showing you the mechanics of it. But in bushes and such are often hidden a lot of the courage points and the silver pennies, so try to get as many as we can. You can actually look at some point here, it tells you how many silver. There's 100 silver pennies and 1,400 courage points in this chapter, and 2 more chests to get. 23 quests, so, you know. Some more money. Okay, very good. Some more money and some more courage points. Alright, I actually want to back up a bit because I believe there is an area that we saw. I tried to jump over the fence, but I think there's a way to get there. I feel like there actually is a way to do that.
Oh, I'm hungry.
Oh, we've already
It's
spoken
almost
to you.
noon.
Yeah, there's Gamma. I think there is like sort of another way to go directly from Bag End. Well, I mean, there's the garden. Perhaps I was just thinking of that. Oh, apparently I haven't really gone around the outside of it, so... I am having a difficulty with the camera here, but... that's just the way the game is. Oh, look, there's another one behind the tree there. I'm not going to go too crazy trying to make sure that I get every last pickup in this, but I'll try to get as many as I can. Because the goal, of course, is to talk about the game itself and how it relates to... the book and the lore and everything, and sort of examining that. Well, I'm glad I went back up there. We'll have to bring her needles at some point. And I see, that's where that, like, butter churn looking thing is. Did I talk to him? I think I did, but I'm gonna make sure. I think he was the one that said that he saw a dwarf.
I saw a dwarf.
Yeah. I think he must be talking about Thorin because they did describe him, I believe, as having a very, very long beard. Thorin was the oldest one, you know. Let's talk to this fellow over here. Oh, there's a lady over here, actually. Let's talk to her.
Bilbo! I heard there was a wizard skulking around Hobbiton. I heard he was seen near your place. I hope he
Use
isn't
travels
causing any
fast.
trouble with his dangerous fireworks and putting spells on the crops. Why can't he leave well enough alone? We don't want trouble here. I wish someone would ask him to leave.
So, you know, Gandalf's reputation was pretty poor at this point, and it not entirely his fault. I mean, she talks about dangerous fireworks and stuff, and the hobbits mostly love fireworks, especially the younger ones. But a lot of the hobbits of the Shire came to regard Gandalf somewhat negatively and thought of him as a troublemaker, and it was not actually his fault. It was actually Saruman's fault. Saruman was visiting the Shire on occasion in disguise, and they thought he was Gandalf.
Well, the best apples in all Hobbiton are in that apple orchard. I'd get some if I could climb those cliffs.
So we can just...
Well, the best apples
Oh, I
in all
wasn't
Hobbiton are...
yeah, I wasn't trying to talk to you, sir. So we can just sort of push this over there and then use it to get up there.
The best apples in all Hobbiton.
I'm not trying to talk to you, sir. There we go. Easy enough. Money. Alright, walk over to the pile of throwing stones to pick them up, and okay, yeah, equip the stones.
That wizard is responsible for so many lads and lasses going off into the blue for mad adventures. Why anyone would set foot outside the Shire is beyond me.
So, yeah, Bilbo actually talked about something like this when he first met Gandalf. Let me grab the book real quick. I'm not going to try to make too much of a habit out of this, but when he's first speaking to Gandalf, and let's see. We've gone a little too far there. Oh, here we are. Gandalf, Gandalf, good gracious me, not the wandering wizard that gave old Took a pair of magic diamond studs that fastened themselves and never came undone until ordered. Not the fellow who used to tell such wondrous tales at parties about dragons and goblins and giants and the rescue of princesses and the unexpected luck of widows' sons. Not the man that used to make such particularly excellent fireworks. I remember those. Old Took used to have them on Midsummer's Eve. Splendid. They used to go up like great lilies and snapdragons and laburnums of fire and hang in the twilight all evening. Not the Gandalf who was... I'm skipping ahead a little bit here, because there's some exposition. Not the Gandalf who was responsible for so many quiet lads and lasses going off into the blue for mad adventures. Anything from climbing trees to visiting elves or sailing in ships, sailing to other shores. Originally, in the early drafts, it was sailing to the other side, which suggested that Gandalf took hobbits to Faerie, which was this magical land to the west. And in later, when it became more reconciled with the Lord of the Rings, it became clear that Faerie was really the Undying Lands, Aemon, and he wouldn't have been taking hobbits there, so it was to other shores. Okay, so there's the stick, but that's not what I was looking for. Here we go, okay. So we could just sort of do this and toss it, and that's how you can get some apples. I didn't invert the camera here, but that's okay. That's it. Alright, it's fine. Not a good angle. So I got an apple. Let's get this one. Oh, wrong button. You can see that the reticle there turns green.
We need a lot of food on our journey.
And that's considered a quest. If you look here, we can see... Well, it's not, but it gave us... It didn't... I guess it's not considered a quest, but it gave us a bunch of courage points. Fit up on that. Let's talk to this guy.
Hey, what are you doing?
What aren't I doing? I'm Bilbo Baggins. I'm doing whatever I want. That's right, I have that long jump. I have to remember that exists. But maybe I should have stayed up there. No, that's okay. Let's go this way. So here's the water. There's some children here. There's Hamfast. That's actually Sam's father.
I'm afraid I'm in a bit of a hurry.
That's Sam's father.
You seek. Ready? Go! Children.
So it's actually considered a quest. So you retrieve the Gammer's sewing needle, find the 4 Hobbiton children. So yes, Hamfast is actually Sam's father, the gaffer.
But I need to get to the other side.
I could fix it, but I'll need my hammer and nails. Fetch me hammer. I saw Carl playing with it by the waterfall.
It's hard to imagine a hobbit named Carl.
There are some jars in the mill. You'll have to break them open to get the nails. Bring back my hammer and nails, and I'll fix the bridge.
So I think this is implied to be a relation to Ted Sandyman. Okay, I think I want to back up a bit because I want to find those children, and I think at least some of them went backwards. I forget where they actually all go, but we'll try to find them. Just looking around carefully. Maybe I should have brought up like a quest guide or something to make sure that I have them all, but it's alright. Anybody in here? None of them are beyond the water, which would be the river often referred to.
Bilbo Baggins,
Oh wait, no, actually. Oh, this is Hannah.
in the clouds, Bilbo. Fetch me that butter churn from the shed and put it on the porch.
Yeah, she wants the butter churn. All right, I'll go get that for her. I didn't mean to skip that. She wants it on the porch. Well, you walk around quite a bit slowly carrying this butter churn. I don't know how I missed her before, but
Thank you, Bilbo. Have some berry crumble tea cakes. I made them fresh this morning.
does sound tasty.
Oh, and Bilbo, watch out for that wizard.
All right. And I got tea cakes. Who's this?
Oh, I'm hungry.
Oh, that's the hungry guy. All right. I feel like at least one of the children's up here, like near Bag End. It's a very, I mean, great view. Very much what you would consider the Shire to look like. Yeah, where are these kids? I thought there'd be at least one up here.
I was thinking about...
Yeah, Bull Roar took. I could be wrong. I mean, they wouldn't be inside Bag End. I'm on the hill. So I'll go back down Bagshot Road. It's called Bagshot Road when they were building Bag End. They shot all the dirt out into the row, so that's how it became known as Bagshot Road. Oh, this is open now. This wasn't open before. Okay, so one of them's probably in here. I can still see a silver penny over there at least. There's one of the children.
How did you find
That's
me?
Hamfast. So that's Sam's dad. Well, you left the gate open for one, so that's how I found you. Jeez. So I thought at least one of them. And who were the other three? Let's see. Hilda, Belle, and Sadok. Okay. I think one of them, I'm not sure if it was Hilda. I think it's Hilda. It might actually be Sam's mother, who will eventually obviously marry Hamfast, who became more commonly known as the Gaffer. See, now, I don't know, I feel like there was another one around here, but I'm not seeing anybody over here. All right, let me check up in the orchard, though. Oh, don't do that. Oh, well, look, there's a silver penny over there. Well, not in the enclosure, but I'm glad I came back here, because there's certainly a silver penny there. Use these to buy things between, between chapters.
You found me! Next time, I'll find
This
a
is
better
Hilda.
hiding place.
Yeah, I think she goes and she marries Hamfast. So we can get across the river quite easily with the water, as they call it, but only in this section. Hobbits can't swim, and of course Bilbo will not deal well with anything deeper than this in this game, but yeah. Hobbits are notoriously bad swimmers. That's how Frodo's parents died. They drowned. But I might as well go down the length of the water and collect whatever I can. See, it's a fantastic rendition of the Shire in general. See, now, here is where the bridge is broken. I think you just can't go across because you can see the wreckage of it blocks where you would need to go. So we're sort of... I want to go this way, though. There's a reason I'm going this way, trust me. There's the green dragon. And you can see one of the dwarves there. I think that's either Philly or Killy. Let me talk to you.
My children insist I tell them all about dragons. Where do they ever hear of such creatures? Respectable hobbits don't discuss such things.
Fair enough. Guess I'm gonna ride the water wheel up here. Oh, come on. Oh, I know I can do this. I know it's possible. I think you actually have to. There we go. That's the only way to get into this section here. And there's Belle.
You got me! That was fun!
And we can hop out here. So there's only one more of the children left to get. But let me... Go! That's where the nails were, but that's okay. So this is where we'd normally come in, but that's okay. Oh, no, come on, Bilbo. Sort of jump across. So we got the nails. Oh, that actually hurt me. You could find like things like mushrooms and such to replenish your health. Alright. Oh, no, Bilbo, come on. I think if you do this perfectly without falling, you get a bunch of courage points. There it is. All right. About a 40% of the way there towards a level up. Do sort of a long jump there by using your stick. Once you get the sword, you'll want to use the sword as your weapon once you get Sting, but the stick is still the way to long jump, so you still will need the stick. Alright, I think I got everything that I could here, so let's go over to where Carl is. I don't ever recall a hobbit named Carl. I mean, it's possible because they all wound up, in the translation of Westron to English, getting very rural sort of, rural English sort of names. Here, I'm just going to override this one. That'll work. Whoa. There's mushrooms to fill up my health some. More silver pennies.
Pardon me, Carl. Do you have your father's hammer? He needs it to fix the bridge.
Here it is, Mr. Baggins. I'll have to find something else to play with.
He was playing with a hammer. That's a health potion which we could use to replenish ourselves if needed. And there's a nice big boost of courage points. Oh, that actually hurt? I thought landing in the water I'd be fine. Alright, that's okay. Now you could talk to the dwarves near the Green Dragon, but the level, the chapter doesn't really end until you actually go into the Green Dragon, so you can... There's plenty more things to do. You do have to fix the bridge, but everything else is sort of by the by, you know? Let me just check over here, see if there's anything I want. I don't think so. I don't think you can go anywhere past these rocks, but I just wanted to look. Oh, I was trying to jump onto the thing. I'll we'll take the water wheel over to the other side.
Good lad. This shouldn't take long.
I guess it's a matter of minutes. We get a whole bunch of courage points there. Alright, I don't remember where the sewing needles are, but that's like one thing we'll need to find. And there's one more child that we haven't found. And I don't think they'll be beyond the bridge, because how would they have gotten there, you know? So actually thinking about it, I'm really not sure where the last child is. Let me look it up real quick. I don't want to miss one of these kids. Alright, unexpected party. So the one that we're missing is Sadok. So let's see where he is. He's behind the... Oh, so he is behind there. Behind the group of hay bales near the chicken barn. Okay. He must have just snuck across there. So here is Bombo, one of the dwarves.
If you happen to find any provisions, bring them back to me. We still need a few provisions.
So we brought him some of the things we found. You don't have to find all of them, but obviously the more you find, the more courage points you get.
Good day to you.
Here's
Mr.
Almond.
Baggins.
Almond the gardener. So, yeah, so his apprentice would be Sam's father. As we saw in Unfinished Tales.
We still need a
Oh,
few
yes, Bomber, yes. Got a little turned around there.
Good morning, Lorella.
Good morning.
I think Lorella's a character that we're...
Bumber the dwarf tried to buy some sugar and spice, but I couldn't find the keys to my spice chests. Your mother had a talent for opening locks without a key. Do you have that talent too? Pick the locks on those chests, and you're welcome to all the spices you need.
So, you know, Bilbo was never described as picking locks, nor is his mother, Belladonna, Took Baggins. But it does play into the whole burglar thing, and it is a fun little mini-game here. Very similar to... There we go, we got that, the sugar. Very similar to, kind of like a Bioshock 2. We got the sugar, and we got the spice. And let me go talk to Bomber about that.
We still need a few provisions before we can go.
Alright, we still need more, but look how close we are to having leveled.
Good day to you.
Oh, Holman. The camera always, like, jerks around after you talk to someone, so...
Those scarecrows are useless. Look at those crows sitting
Holbert.
there mocking me.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I'll give you a sack of wheat if you
It's
get
another
rid of
provision
those
that we'll
crows.
need for Bomber.
Very well.
So I think all you need to do is just that. Alright, they're gone for good. So it's sort of the same sort of thing. You build up the meter, and then... Oh, we got it. You slam when you can. Little practice.
Thank you, Bilbo. I thought I'd never get rid of those crows.
Alright, we got the wheat sack. So we'll make sure to give that to Bomber when we see him next. This is the chicken barn, so if we go around here, the last child should be around here. You can see there's a save point there as well. A lot of hay bales around here, but yeah, here we are. Sadok.
You're too good at this game.
He must have known another way across the water, that's all. Either that or he's a really strong swimmer. And better climber than Bilbo. Which makes sense, because he's a kid. Now, I don't think we have to do anything else for the hide and seek, right? That's all done with. Yeah, that's all done with. Okay, you don't have to go back or anything like that. Alright, let me just make a little save here. So we just have to kind of sneak in there and watch out for the floorboards that are going to make noise. Oh, I wasn't sneaking. You have to hold this down. And avoid stepping on any of the lighter colored ones. Get that courage point. Very close to level up, though. And there's some eggs. That's more provisions. Oh, careful. And that's another provision for Bomber. Yeah, so stealth is a part of this, and it makes perfect sense with Bilbo being, you know, like, ostensibly a burglar, the thief of the party. So here's another sort of thing we can do with stealth. Did I talk to you? I don't think I did.
You're looking a little thin, Bilbo. You don't want to waste away, do you?
Gandalf said fat and greedy. She said, little thin, don't waste away. You can get berries from Hobart's garden.
Who's creeping round the berry patch?
So anytime he starts getting alerted, you might want to sneak. Make sure we get everything in here.
Who's there?
Don't worry about it. There's a level up. And see, we have extra health now. Oh, he's over there. Make sure he doesn't turn around. Got the berries. Oh, there's more berries right there, though. Okay. Alright. And that little burst of experience telling you, hey, you've got all the berries. So one thing I haven't found is the sewing needles. Let me see. Alright, let's see. There's a list of quests here, which is not too bad. Find the walking stick, meet the dwarves, yeah. Help fix the bridge, we did. Find the hammer. 3 bundles of nails, we already did that. The sewing needle is behind a haystack near the chicken barn. So it's somewhere back here then. Yeah, it's right here. Sewing needle. Alright, so I'll want to head all the way back to Bagshot Row and make sure we give that to Gammer. We did Hana's butter charm. And I think we might have gotten all the provisions. I'll talk to Bomber as I pass him by here.
We still need a few provisions before we can go.
So we're not done. So there's sugar, there's wheat, we did that, the berries, eggs, the apples, sausages. Oh, she gives you the sausage when you give her the needle. And there's the tea cakes. We scared off the crow, we found all the kids. So actually, we'll be done. We'll be done once we do this. The sausage should be the last provision. It did say 3 berries. I hopefully did get all 3 of them. It did give me a burst of courage points, suggesting that I had gotten them all. But you're not. You're not Gammer Gamgee. There she is.
Oh, Bilbo, did you find my
quilting, not sewing.
Here
Okay.
it is.
Thank you, Bilbo. Please take these sausages.
Sounds delicious.
The best in Hobbiton.
They're probably banger-style sausages.
I've got all the food
He even
Bomber
says
could
it. Okay.
possibly want. At least for the afternoon.
At least for the afternoon. Bomber's a big guy. He was described as being very large. There were a lot of fat jokes about Bomber throughout The Hobbit. I think in The Lord of the Rings there might have been a mention that he was so large at that point that he could not even really move around unassisted. Makes you wonder if it was maybe a thyroid issue, you know?
Thank you, Bilbo. Perhaps you'll be some use to us after all. Now get into the Green Dragon Inn. The others are waiting.
Okay, so there's nothing else to do, right? Okay. I mean, there might be like some items like around this area, but yes, I thought that might be either Philly or Killy. That's Killy.
Waiting for you inside. When you are ready to leave Hobbiton, just open the door to the Green Dragon Inn.
All right, so I think the way that I would do this is we'll save it here, obviously, but I'll try to end the chapter and put that in there, and then, like, the beginning of the next chapter, we'll save it as soon as we can, and then stop, and then continue from that point.
It's about time you arrived, Mr. Baggins. Let the journey begin.
So that's the first chapter. I don't know if I got all the courage points or all of the... Well, it's going to tell me here all of the silver pennies. We missed about 15 silver pennies. Oh, about 10 courage points. We got all the chests and we did all the quests. So we did pretty well for ourselves there. And here's where you can actually buy stuff. So you can get these skeleton keys that'll let you open things without having to play the mini game. This permanently gives you a health bubble. You kind of want to save up for those. Those are really good, as much as you can. Health potions become important later on in the game. We have one right now. We should be... I'm going to get one more. We should be good to... for the next chapter, which is roast mutton and this antidote. We don't have to worry about that. And then, of course, you could upgrade your medicine chest, upgrade your rock bag, but we don't have to worry about that. So we're just going to leave the vendor and watch this.
He regretted leaving home almost immediately. In the dangerous Lonelands, they found themselves cold, wet, and low on food.
Bilbo was very...
Suddenly, Balin noticed the light of a fire.
The way they say Balin instead of
Thorin
Balin
sent
is
their
kind of
new
strange
burglar,
to me.
Bilbo, to investigate.
So this will be roast mutton. Well, we'll do that next time. There's almost always a save point right at the beginning, right where you start. So we should be able to do that without getting into too much. And we'll wait till next time. We'll do roast mutton, which is involving the 3 trolls and finding Sting and everything. So, but yeah, so far coming at it from a scholarly standpoint, the perception is very good that it's very close to the book. Obviously, there are things that were created just for gameplay, like getting provisions. The dwarves brought their own provisions. They didn't need Bilbo to bring provisions. And if they did, they would take it from his larder. They wouldn't be going around finding wheat and rice and sugar and all this stuff and eggs and sausage and finding sewing needles and moving butter churns. But it's just to create gameplay and to get you used to the game and early on when there's not a lot of combat, a lot of things to do. But anyway, this has been The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey. We'll be moving on to roast mutton next time, and we'll be talking more about that. Very accurate to the lore, very accurate. Even bringing things that weren't mentioned in the book, such as calling it the Shire. I think they do mention Middle-earth at some point or another. Those are words that are not actually in The Hobbit. But we'll see you next time.